A judge is considering banning parties and witnesses in the FTX case from speaking to the media. Joining us now to discuss is CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who is also the editor of CoinDesk's State of Crypto newsletter. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
All right. Sam Bankman-Fried is expected in court today. What is likely going to happen when he gets there?
Yeah, so this stems from a letter last week that prosecutors sent alleging that he had leaked former Alameda Research CEO Carolyn Ellison's private diaries in an effort to try and discredit her as a witness. The judge has scheduled a hearing, and among other things, he said that both parties should be prepared to discuss the continued adequacy of his bail conditions, potentially suggesting that, if he's not happy with what he hears, he might seek changes on Sam Bankman-Fried's current bond release.
This is something out of TMZ, who's sitting there leaking.
This keeps getting more and more dramatic.
Yeah, for the kids who don't know, what exactly were in those diaries, other than like, OMG, I can't believe Sam looked at me today. What else was going on in those diaries?
Yeah, I mean, there were details about Ellison's previous relationships with Bankman-Fried. Other details just talk about kind of more her perspective on running the company, about her concerns with, the operations and what she was doing, and also her ability to do it. So, Ellison, of course, seems to have pleaded guilty a couple months ago to DOJ charges and settled. And part of that plea agreement seems to suggest that she's going to be, a key witness in Bankman-Fried's own trial, which kicks off in October.
It doesn't sound much like. Yeah, I was just going to say, it doesn't sound much like damning her. It seems if he were to leak it, it kind of makes him look like a tool.
Well, yeah, Lawrence, I'm happy you brought that up, because Nick, can you tell us why this is so important to the trial? What does the leaking of these diary entries actually mean? Could it taint potential witnesses in the future? What's the contentious point here?
Well, not the witnesses so much as the jury, right? If you're looking for a jury that, you want to see as neutral, then, potentially having something come out in the New York Times saying that, by the way, one of the witnesses, A, was romantically engaged with the defendant, B, was heavily involved in the running of this company, and then C, she had all these, things that she was thinking about and talking about, and, maybe the jury's going to think, okay, well, perhaps, she was not really paying attention to the actual issues or to what Bankman-Fried himself was doing. Maybe she's an unreliable witness because of, XYZ. So there's a couple different concerns that I think prosecutors will have. Of course, the defense team, Bankman-Fried's lawyers, have also come out and said that, by the way, this whole thing is being tried in public anyway, and they in particular took umbrage at the fact that the current leadership of FTX has made a couple, let's say, statements about how badly FTX was run under Bankman-Fried. So it's a concern that the defense has acknowledged, although clearly their actual concern and focus is on a slightly different aspect of it.
And lastly, Sam Bankman-Fried is set to face trial in October. There's 8 criminal charges against him. Talk to us about how today's hearing is going to impact what happens in October.
So the big thing is the concern about bail conditions, and then the actual, topic, the proposed order on discussing details of the case in public or with the public or disseminating on other public communication media. We might see a little bit less information from, news articles about what prosecutors and the defense team are thinking. On the other hand, it seems pretty well set that we know what we're looking at. The open questions now are things like, the witness lists, the, actual timeline for everything, details like that will be shared. These are things that the prosecution and defense will have to agree to and share with the judge, and the judge will sign off. So all of that will still be public, but we might just hear less about the kind of, behind the scenes thinking than we've seen so far.